she's a music supervisor and knows how rare it is that you get to have a song and right there, you know, and often nowadays you'll go to movies and there'll be two, sometimes more, you know, but I had just the amount of people to thank and everything in there to credit, so.
Well, I also think it's pretty rare that you would have a fluorescent mineral consultant and a scorpion wrangler, which is my favourite credit ever.
That's so true.
Was scorpions problematic on the set? Was that something you had to deal with?
So there's a shot still of the scorpion in the jar, right? Yeah, I think that's in there, right? So yeah, so we had to, that had to be wrangled, man. Can't just let those things run around.
Well, thinking about the setting, the location was,
Yeah.
New Mexico, was that an area that you were very familiar with before this shoot?
Not at all. So originally, as you saw, this was originally a book that my Belgian producer found at a truck stop and picked it up for a quarter. He was like, oh, this looks good, you know, and so he optioned it, and then they had a first draft of the script. The book was set in Chicago. Then they had a first draft of the script they were not pleased with, and then they brought me on, and I remembered thinking, God, I can't believe I didn't write this, because it's a single mom, and I grew up with a single mom. I was a single mother. And then, but you know, there were some differences in my experience, and so, so one of the things that they wanted to do, I mean, I had plenty that I wanted to do to change it, but they wanted to set it in New Mexico, and so I was like, okay. And then, as the more that we researched it, I go, I mean, I'm really into New Mexico, but I mean, why are we shooting it there? Why do you want it to be there? And they go, because we want to go there. I was like, oh, that's how it works? You just pick a location and go, oh, let's set it there, because that's where we want to go. So that's how that happened. And so there were movies there in the first script. I can't remember if it was in the book, but there was I don't think it was in the book, but there were movies within. It wasn't that the young girl was obsessed with movies. I put that in, but there was movies in the first script that were old Hollywood movies, and I was like, but that wouldn't be at a movie theater in this time, in a small town. So I was like, well, we should make them Spanish movies. So both Carl and I had decided that, Carl Colpart, my producer. So so then I just wrote the Spanish movies in English and then translated them. Yeah.
And what was the process like of shooting them? Because it's obviously a totally different register.
Yeah, well, it's kind of amazing now. Tracy and I were talking, we were trying to remember where Dean actually shot the movie theater, where they were projected, which was different than where we shot her, because we shot the movie theater in LA and we shot her in New Mexico in that theater. And then the films within the film, I shot them all in Los Angeles, mainly in Echo Park, but I also shot, which I've worked at that building 5 times or something, this one apartment building on Echo Park Avenue. Then there was one where it was kind of a fancier house, and it was an old mansion that is used a lot, I think in Pasadena or something. But some of those actors, a couple of the actors, where there's the parents, you know, she's doing, you know, the old version of Tinder, you know, of throwing the pictures, you know, and swiping, and then finding one that she likes. The parents in that were big, they were big Mexican actors, you know, of sort of just post the golden era, but they were in the 60s, you know, they were big Mexican film stars. And the man, actually, I put him in my next movie as well. His daughter was a set decorator, so, you know, she said, my dad was this Mexican film star, so that was kind of amazing. And then we decided to shoot those in black and white, and we actually shot them in black and white as well. But yeah, Tracy had to cut those too. She had to cut those films within the film.
I had to make them look old as well.
Oh yes, and so she had to make the films look old So to scratch them up, she brought in her stepfather, the great Richard Brooks. She brought in his moviola one day that he used on In Cold Blood to scratch the films within the film up. Pretty cool, huh?
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Destroyed.
Okay, well,